So, I've released my seventh album this month. This has been a wild month in so many ways, a crazy, crazy month. It's called Native Dimensions, and it's a unique release because it illustrates my origin path, which was to make music from my heart. As crazy as it sounds, it's like I really didn't want to get involved with technical stuff. I really didn't want to get involved with the scientific side of music, let's call it. And so I always try to do music from my heart. And my heart is like the spectrum. So it doesn't mean like sweet and cute and cuddly. It means all kinds of music, especially crazy, wild stuff of wars and revolutions and the darker side of life, which is the native dimensions. And so, yeah, this is like a tribal thing, so it's definitely the primal aspect of the heart. And it's where I really shine for me because I like the music to come from this organic place more than I like for it to come from this contrived, let's do this and this and this, and then something, happy accident or something will happen. So this is not everybody's cup of tea, that's for sure, this kind of music. But if you have ever heard action adventure music, if you've ever heard trailer music, if you've ever heard, Latin percussive music and liked it, there might be something that's up your alley in this particular release. It's about 16 tracks. And here's another thing that's unique about it. When I do the percussive stuff, so I play guitar in my own music, and I sing on my own music, and I do the string work and arrangements on my own music, and if it's classical, I'll do the classical music. And if it sounds like a loop, 9 times out of 10, I actually created the loop to sound like a loop. So this is the idea behind the drumming in this, which is I did it all with my fingers. That's one of the things that's the trademark of CMDess is if I use loops or percussive beds, it's not in a normal way. I use them in unconventional ways, but mainly I rely on this. But mainly I really am relying on my ear because I'm listening for that groove accent that's a little bit unorthodox. And so that's another way that this can only be a CMDess release until the AI finally clones me and wins. So this is a really unique release, and I was listening to it and I said, I'm going to mention something about this one. Out of the 7 that I've just done, they're all, pretty cool, but this one gets to my roots. And I literally came back to Florida to get back to my roots after 12 years in San Francisco, California, and dealing with the commercial side of music. As a Floridian, I had no idea what I was getting myself involved with. And so I'm glad I'm able to take a step back and be more original and be more myself. Now, it's not going to make any money. It's not going to do well in the streams, and it doesn't matter anymore. So hopefully, will get heard by a couple of people. Probably my split personalities, my spectrum. But anyways, so we have an emphasis on sound design. Now it's very grungy and gritty because what we have here is a real crazy mixture. I got involved with listening to like grunge music and Korn and the darker stuff, the retro grunge too that people don't talk about, the progressive rock. All of this was because of the exposures that I had in San Francisco. I was not interested in that music until I got into the San Francisco scene and learned a bit about that. If I'd ended up in LA, I'm sure I would have gotten involved with that side of music. So it's quite a strange mixture to bring that world of grunge to the tribal world. And so my original idea was to create something called Bionic Symphonic, which that's not really grunge, but the idea was to mix guitar amps and orchestral instruments. Now, did the idea mix well originally? It was okay. But looking back on it and then now doing some additional processing on it, I think I was able to flesh out a little bit more of what I was trying to do. So that's why this is a really unique release. It may not be, something that's going to fit the pop audience, but it's original, and that's what I've always been striving for, to make this original, really exceptional experience. Now, it's not a song-oriented album, so that's something I'm still working on, is making those kinds of original, incredible experiences. But it is a compositional-based album. And so if you're into that kind of stuff, which is, I guess some people call it serious music, and it's serious in this one, then you might be interested in this. Now, getting back to the mixture, so we have the grunge, and then we have some symphonic, and then we have sound design, which is another area I think that I do pretty well in, because really, it's anywhere I'm going to apply my creative process. If I see this much, I'm going to try to make everything I could possibly make out of it. And that comes from being brought up so-called, poor, where I literally had to be creative to make the time pass, to be, it's like when you think like when you're a kid, what you have to play with. And, you're playing in the sand, so you're making a spaceship. And, this is the mentality of the person that sustains poverty, so you can keep developing. Nowadays I'm not so concerned with the material world, but I appreciate high technology tools that can take me to a new level of my artistic development. So there's a respect and an appreciation for all the work that goes into those kinds of things. So, once again, getting back to the mixture, so then we have the technological side of it. So we have sound design and technology, and then we have, this primal instinct that gets us involved with this sort of material. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So then, because of this blend, you have a unique blend of percussive ideas, and then because of the recent advancements in source separation, then you have a unique blending of, transient responses in the instruments, because they would not normally have been available unless I had really focused on it previously, which is like, I was focused on so many other things, it wasn't a huge deal for me at the time. But I really appreciate what the source separation technology can do, and I actually utilized a website called vocalremover.org, if I can remember. So I definitely want to thank them for providing that service at this moment. And I have also used tools like DMix, and these are great tools for remixing. There's just nothing better than when you want to try to do something and really push your artistic vision you may have had to the nth degree, but you don't have access or time to dig into the source stuff. So then you can actually use the source separators. So it came out really great, I think. And so it's going to be something where you're going to have to listen on a hi-fi system or on a Bose or on a good Bluetooth speaker to really enjoy it, maybe in your car, but really just on a good stereo, a good system, to really understand the details that involve, because it is such a dense mixture of materials. If you're talking about going into these other realms of dimensions of native music, how are you going to experience that good on the phone? It's just not going to happen. So really, you've got to really check these out on super hi-fi. So if you have a phone, you can push it to your hi-fi. That's the best way to go, always. Until they developed the stereo cell, which was an idea I had to develop a cell phone that would have little speakers you could attach very quickly. Until they develop something like that, you got to use a good system. Or not, you can just skip this video and move on to grander pastures. See you later. Here's the release number 8. I will not be probably releasing stuff for a while. I'm going to take a break from that because it's just like, I've gotten out the major stuff from my archival, and my new strategy is basically I'm going to put it out on the distribution platform as CDs, because I don't want to make like a discography separate from my CD work. I just want to have like a grand, like one-stop shop where you can check out all the material that CMDess has released on his freelance adventures. So I'm going to cut it off here. This video has really gone on. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you can check out the native Dimensions. If you can't check out that one, maybe This Way Holiday. If you like holiday music, if you like songs, you can check out the recent remaster CD I did. It's called Alt Remasters, CMDess Spotlight tracks. Or if you want fringe material, you can check out X Riffs, which I just released, which has all original ideas. Nobody's tapped into X Riffs yet. They're doing some hints at it in highly advanced music, and that's where I'm just like saying, okay, I got your hint, now I'm doing my own thing. And if you're into more contemporary music, I have something even there, which is called Continuum. And I'm also pretty proud of Continuum because it is, again, getting back to what I was trying to do originally, getting back to my roots. And then also check out Shadow King, because if you like rock music, that's cool. And there's a lot of great stuff in there that covered like a broad spectrum of material. I lied because I'm going on and on, so I may as well mention the Power Struggle CD that I just released. So you got to check out Power Struggle if you like rock music. I'm really, really, really good at rock music because of the San Francisco scenery exposure. There's a huge rock grunge thing happening, and so Jimi Hendrix was there, and all these greats were there, and there's these paintings about them and murals and all this stuff. So definitely I was pretty well immersed in it, and I'm understanding the Nine Inch Nails world, but also other space rock oriented material like Kyuss and Queens of the Stone Age and Hawkwind and the oldies and the older rock material that has like really the grit. So that's a really cool place to start with discovering what's going on with my rock world. Let's check out the Power Struggle. So anyways, we have about 9 or 10 CDs I mentioned there. Good luck and have a good listening experience. CMDess out.